And that's what $500,000 of coffee looks like. So what you're about to see in this video is the result of almost 6 years of blood, sweat, and tears through what seemed like at times almost impossible challenges. In this video, we're going to show you now what our dream facility looks like as it's put to work, fulfilling orders for some of America's largest retailers. We wouldn't be here without our incredible team or without the support and patience of our investors. Without any more delay, let's go check it out. On the dot.
How you feeling?
Tired. Coffee is here after driving halfway across the country.
Being a retailer with King Soopers and City Market, which is owned by Kroger, obviously entails a lot of coffee being shipped out to a lot of different places. And so I want to show you guys how that's done all in-house here at our facility here in Denver, Colorado. Let's go. We have a massive space here where we have more of a lounge setting. We want it to feel like a fun environment while also being incredibly productive, help us fulfill these kind of orders. The start of the process begins over here. This is the green coffee. When coffee comes in, it comes in kind of greenish tan color, smells like grass. And that is the coffee after it's been processed in its country of origin, sent over here where we throw it in the roaster and get those flavor nuances coming out and put them in a can and send them to you guys. So it starts out here. And as you can see, we've got these white bins behind me where we'll batch out this coffee in 60-pound bins, bring it over to the roaster. That coffee then goes into the roaster and begins the next process. This is our fully in-house roaster. It's a Diedrich. It's a infrared roaster, which allows us to process the coffee in a pretty different way and hone in on those precision crafted qualities, make sure that coffee's tasting delicious. So it all starts with bringing those bins of green coffee over to the hopper over here, where we load in the green coffee, about 60 pounds each. It flies up into the hopper. We will drop the coffee into this main unit here. And in that unit, for about 10 to 14 minutes, the coffee will begin to spin in like a ceramic barrel. After about 10 to 14 minutes, that coffee, if you come around here, will dump out from the barrel where it's been roasting and essentially sit in this cooling bin. Once it's done with the process of cooling down, it hops into this machine here called a destoner. Stones or pebbles or something that finds its way into the coffees and there's no way to prevent it. And so you have a machine called a destoner that removes those materials from the coffee and makes it perfectly safe to drink. Once it sits up in the destoner and goes through that process, we pull this handle and drop the coffee out into this blue bin. The blue bins, which is different from the white bins, are where the roasted coffee goes. We make sure it's an aligned bin, separated from everything else, so it's perfectly food safe. We seal them up, label them, we bring them over here. So this is our fully in-house filling, labeling, fulfilling unit, really. When the coffee is developed and ready and cooled down, they go into the bins and make their way over to here. The big thing with this is it's a fully proprietary unit that was built specifically for us. As you guys know, our tins are a pretty special little design and it's not readily found that have machines that can fill them quite easily. So we had to custom build this unit back here. The big hopper up there is where those roasted beans from the blue bins get loaded into. Roughly 180 pounds, I would say, of roasted coffee can sit up in that top hopper. And so while that's sitting up in there, we've got scales that constantly are cycling through the coffee to measure it out precisely. Once the coffee's up in the bin, ready to go, they measure it out in a 12-ounce variance and dump into the tins. The tins then get passed over here to where they get lidded. The now roasted coffee sitting in the tins with the lids make their way down the line They get a tab up top and then a side label kind of wraps around the can, pumps out to the end and makes their way to a 12-count box. Load them up on pallets. So now that the pallets are about ready, they now make their way back around to where the green coffee first started and get ready to ship off to over 140 King Soopers and city markets across the state of Colorado.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Hot off the press, brand new news, front page, who is this? All black on, real low key, take a guess. I stand out from the rest, no contest. I've been the man, I am him. Only fear God with the fear God I'm in. Been blessed, prayed up, amen. Now I'm getting to this money like a paper route kid. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Just want to get on the handles and pull opposite direction slowly.
The Kroger order is wrapped. We are on our way to go show you all what it looks like once it actually hits the store shelf. So we just pulled up to our local Kroger. We're gonna go in there, just check on the products. A lot of times we like to say hi to the store manager, just to hear how things are going and to put a face to the brand. It's something that people who work in the store really appreciate when they can actually meet the people behind the company. And you'd be surprised how few people do that. So it's worth putting in a little effort to get to know those people. All right, so let's go inside and actually see Drive on the shelf. Went from the Drive Coffee headquarters to the shelf at Kroger. It's still crazy to think this is what we were working on back at the warehouse. I still remember shipping the very first orders of these cans, thinking about this day, wondering how we would ever make it possible. We're here in the local Kroger here in Colorado. We've got our Broncos line, and we've also got our 3 best sellers. Right now, Le Mans is still #1, the original bestseller. The next bestseller after that is Baja, followed by Detroit. You've seen now where our beans are and how they go from arriving on the truck as just green beans to being roasted and how they end up being produced. We got to get back to the warehouse because we've got a big retail order for our drinks now, and now we're about to show you how that process happens. Let's go.
So we're here in Centennial, Colorado, which is the site of our new warehouse facility. We moved here a little over a year ago from our space out in Rhino, which was just an awesome space to grow into. We really loved being there. Unfortunately, we just grew too big for it, and we had a lot of production goals and capabilities that we were looking to meet, and we needed a bigger space to do that. So being here at Centennial, it was kind of a dream spot for us in many ways. We're right by the runway at Centennial Airport, so we get to look on at all the planes taking off, landing. It makes for a fun workspace. We've got big giant windows that we can look out of. It just makes for a really fun, engaging space. We're walking distance away from the Broncos facility. Being the official coffee of the Denver Broncos, it couldn't have been more perfect.
To Lil Jordan Humphrey, who was Big Jordan Humphrey on that catch and run.
And so as we drive by the Broncos facility, like all of us do every morning, kind of gives us that opportunity to reflect on how cool it is. We kind of had the dreams and ambitions of getting to that next level and exceeding any expectations that we set for ourselves back then. We've done just that with building out this incredible production facility. Being right here in Centennial We're neighbors with a lot of awesome companies and different people and organizations. So this is a big space for us to move into, but it was necessary from our old space out in Rhino. It's just allowed for a lot of awesome motivation for us to continue to grow.
All right, so welcome to the other side of the Drive production facility. This is where the real magic happens. This is where our coffee is turned into our delicious Nitro cold brew drinks. This was a process and a capability that we dreamed about for a long time. It took us almost 4 years to get to this point, and we're really proud of this because we are one of the only places where your cold brew is gonna get roasted 100 feet or so from where it's gonna be turned into a drink. This is where the canning process really begins. What you see in here is actually all of our empty cans. We get shipments of cans in here. Those cans get loaded into what's called a depal. It's a machine that takes the cans off the pallet. It uses a photo eye. It's connected to several other sensors to look at the stack. You can hear it going right now. It then pushes the cans onto a conveyor, and that's what feeds it in the machine. So here you can see where the cans are coming off of the pallet. They come down this slide here, and what it's going through right here is a rinse tunnel. What that does is it rinses the cans with a sanitary rinse before it gets fed into the machine. The most critical part of the canning process is how we run everything in a sterile fashion. Here we are at probably the most work-intensive part of the process, which is where the drinks are mixed and formulated. You gotta get your green coffee, you've gotta roast it, you've gotta grind it. Those grounds have to be extracted, and then you have to mix in all your other ingredients. We are one of the only places in the world where under the same roof, 100 feet from each other, the coffee gets roasted and then gets turned into a drink. So once we have our extract, which is done through a proprietary process that's unique to Drive, concentrates are then pumped into these tanks. This is where liquid coffee is stored and where the other ingredients are pumped in and mixed in together with the rest of the stuff. The final product is stored in this tank before it gets hooked up to our canning line, where it then gets batched into the individual cans. Take a look over here. This is the main part of the canning line, which is the canning machine itself. This unit connects to several other machines, but this is what actually puts our cold brew into a can. The first step in this is that cans are fed into the machine. The cans are rinsed with a sanitary rinse to make sure the cans are sterile. Then they are purged of oxygen via nitrogen purge. Then they are filled with the liquid. The lid is put on, and then it goes into the seamer where the can is sealed. After it gets sealed, it goes through a rinse bath, comes down the rest of the line where it gets packed off, and then goes into our pasteurization process where the cans are sterilized, and that's the final part of the process. So we just got to Sprouts. This is the very first retailer that picked up our canned coffee drinks. We're incredibly excited. This is actually one of the #1 Sprouts markets in the entire United States. It's been a great partner for us to have. We're super excited. As you'll see inside, we actually did custom labels and custom cans for Sprouts, which we're very excited about. Let's run on in, take a look, and go see them on shelf. Over 4 years, an incredible amount of hard work. to finally be able to do this. So we really hope that you all liked this video. A lot of you have been asking for it for a while, seeing what actually happens inside the building. And if you made it this far, then you're gonna be the first to know about our next video that's coming up that we are really, really excited about. In the middle of all this production, we actually ended up taking this car to Jay Leno and shooting a video with him. So we're gonna take you behind the scenes of how the car went from Colorado out to Jay's place, and how the whole video came together and our time with him.
Kicked Out Garage, Tim.
Hey, it's the Drive Coffee crew. We are really excited for that video, and we had that opportunity to do that. We'll see you on the next vlog with this car and Jay in the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The channel's still growing. Every little bit helps right now with the algorithm and helping the channel grow. And also comment below what you'd like to see next time or any questions you have on the facility, and we're happy to answer those. I'm going to go get some desperately needed sleep finally. We'll see you soon.